Today we are deploying our application on AWS EKS using Jenkins and Argo CD GitOps workflow. So I'll take you to my Figma file to show you the exact steps that we are following in this project. So we are in our Figma file. So developer will develop the code and push it to the feature branch, and that will create a pull request, and the pull request will be reviewed and approved by GitHub admin, and the code will be merged to the main branch. That will trigger the CI. So once the CI is triggered, Docker image will be built and pushed to the Docker hub, and our Kubernetes manifest will be updated in our GitHub. Argo CD will monitor the Git repository and automatically deploy the latest changes to the Kubernetes cluster. So now we are in our AWS console. Here we will launch an instance. I'm going to click on launch instance and we'll give our instance a name. After that we'll choose an OS image. I'll go with Amazon Linux. Now I'll choose an instance type. I'll go with C7i Flex Large. We'll choose a key pair. I already have a key pair with me, so I'll choose that one. In case you don't have a key pair, you will click on create new key pair. You will type a name for your key pair, keep key pair type as RSA, and key file format as pem. And in case if you're using putty, you can use .ppk, and then click on create key pair. Since I already have one, I'll just close this. Then we'll select security group. I already have one, so I'll select existing one. You can create new security group if you don't have one. I'll choose the existing one, which is Launch Wizard 1. Now I'll choose the storage. I'll keep it as 30 GB. Number of instances will be 1. Now I'll click on launch instance. So now our instance is launched successfully. We'll go to our instance. I'll check on our instance. I'll copy the public IPv4 address. Now I'll go to my MobaXterm to connect with our remote Linux server. So I'll click on session. You can see it on the top left corner. I'll click on session. Click on SSH, copy the address, paste the address. So this MobaXterm will help us to connect to our remote Linux server, and it will also provide us a terminal to work with. Now specify username. Since we have Linux server, we'll have to give it ec2-user. That is the default username for Linux instances. Now I'll choose private key. I'll select my existing key. So now we are connected to our Linux server. Now I'll go to the text documents where I have kept all the files and commands that are essential for this project. So I'll first copy this Java commands so that we can install Java 21 we'll be using. Now I'll go to Jenkins. Under installing Jenkins, we'll go to Linux. Click on Linux and Red Hat Enterprises. We'll copy the commands under long-term support release. Under this, we'll copy these commands and I'll paste it. You click on Y again, Y again. Now we have installed Jenkins successfully. I will install Docker. So we have installed Docker successfully. Now we'll install Git. Now we'll install our kubectl. We need this to manage and troubleshoot our pods and services inside a cluster. So we have installed the kubectl commands. Now we'll install AWS command line interface. These are required to manage the resources in the AWS. Now we'll install EKSCTL. This is essential for creating our cluster. Now we need to go to our AWS console and we have to modify the IAM roles, because by default our AWS resources cannot communicate with each other. Without this, I cannot create a cluster using my EC2 instance, so I have to provide it access. I'll go to IAM role. I already have IAM role created, but I want to show you that how to create it. So I'll go to IAM role. We'll go to we'll go to roles, and now we'll create role. We'll keep it as AWS services as entity type. Service use case will be EC2. Now under permission policies, we'll look for administrator access. We checked on it. Now we'll go next. We'll give it a role name. Now we have given the administrator access to our EC2. So now our EC2 instance can create a cluster. So we'll create the role. I'll go to our EC2 again and attach the IAM role that we have just created. So we'll go to actions, under actions to security, modify the IAM role, and now we'll attach the IAM role that we have created, which is full access role 3, and we'll update the IAM role. So now we have attached the role successfully. Now we can create the cluster using EKSCTL commands. Now we'll go to our security groups to edit the inbound rules. So currently I have open 8080 port, that is for Jenkins, but I'll delete this one and create the new one. So I'll add rule, custom TCP, and port range 8080, and So it's custom, we'll choose anywhere IPv4 and then we'll save rules. So now our 8080 port is accessible. So now we are enabling the Jenkins. So we'll write sudo systemctl enable Jenkins, and after that we'll type sudo systemctl start Jenkins. Once we have enabled the Jenkins, we need to start it also. So we'll type this command and click on enter. Now we'll go to a Jenkins and copy this directory and we'll paste it in our terminal, sudo cat and the directory name, so that we can view the password. So we'll copy this password and now we'll paste it to get the access to Jenkins. Now we'll install the suggested plugins. Now we'll give it the username, password and mail addresses. Continue, save and finish, start using Jenkins. Now we are inside the Jenkins console. I'll go to manage Jenkins, and we'll go to plugins and we will install some plugins. We will click on available plugins. We'll install pipeline stage view. We also need to install Docker related plugins. We also need to install Kubernetes related plugins also. So right now all our plugins are installing. So now we are adding Jenkins to our Docker group. So sudo user mod -ag docker Jenkins. We do this because by default Jenkins is not authorized to access a Docker. So we add it to our Docker group and then we restart the Jenkins again. So now all plugins are installed. We can restart it. Now we'll try to create a cluster. So we'll copy the cluster commands and paste it, and we'll change the node type because I'm not going to use t2.medium. I'll choose the instance type as the same one as my EC2 instance that I have created. So now our cluster is being created. So this installation usually takes good amount of time, so we'll have to wait. Okay, there's some sort of error, I guess. Okay, our cloud stack. Let me check something, guys. Okay, so our cluster is being created. So now we'll go to credentials under manage Jenkins system. We'll go on click on global, and then we'll add credentials, username and password. Scope will be global always, and username would be my Docker Hub username. Password will be my Docker Hub password. ID will be Docker creds. Description, you can give any description. I'll keep it as just Docker creds. Now this ID we have just written is important. We'll add one more credential, which will be for our GitHub. So scope will be global. Username would be my GitHub username. For password, we'll generate the token. I'll go to our GitHub. We'll go to settings. Under settings, we'll go to developer setting. We'll go to settings first. Developer settings. We'll click on personal access token, tokens classic. We'll delete the existing token and we'll create a new token. So generate new token classic, give it a note, Jenkins note, and check all these boxes. Generate token. Now a token is generated successfully. I'll paste the token. I'll give it an ID. GitHub creds. Description, we'll just keep it GitHub creds. We'll create the credentials. So now we have our Docker and GitHub credentials. Our cluster is being created. So earlier it showed error when I was creating the cluster because it was the cluster name was already there, so I had to give it another name. And it usually cluster creation takes a lot amount of time, so we'll have to wait here. A cluster is still being created, so keep patience. So remember guys, in this project we are using GitOps approach. So in GitOps approach, Argo CD monitors the Git repository. So it will deploy any changes to the Kubernetes cluster based on the changes in our GitHub repository. So please remember that. We still have to wait for some time. It's taking a good amount of time. So I'll take you to my Jenkins file. Meanwhile, our cluster is being created. So this is our Jenkins file. So this is a pipeline, agent any. Agent any basically means just execute the pipeline in any available agent, which is currently in my case our EC2 instance. Option disable concurrent builds. This means that only one build will be run at a time. These are our after options we have environment variables. Your image name, get user, get email, all this information we'll have to provide here. Then we have stages checkout SCM. Wait a minute, guys. Which check a stage checkout SCM. SCM will get our source code. And then we have build and push, stage build and push, which will build and push our Docker image. Under this we have a condition when branch is main. If the branch is not main, it will basically skip this stage. So it will not execute this stage. So we have to make sure that our branch is main. And after when the branch is main, we have other steps, which is basically our image tag. So env.environment image tag will be build number, credentials that we have just created in our Jenkins console. So you can see the Docker credentials ID that we just created, same as Docker creds. So you can see that when we were inside update credential, we use the username, and then you see this ID, this Docker creds. We have under ID we have Docker creds. This is the same Docker creds that we have mentioned here. And then username variable, which says that you have username and password. So we have username variable and password variable. So these are the two values that we'll be using. So for username variable we have Docker user, for password variable Docker password. Now we'll build the image, Docker build -t, image name and image tag. In the current directory, find the Docker file in the current directory. Then log in, providing the Docker username, and use password from the input. And after that, push the image to the Docker hub. Then we are inside in a stage update gate manifest. Again the condition branch main. If not branch main, then skip it. Now we again have the credentials which we have stored in a Docker, which we have stored in our environment. So credential ID GitHub creds that we just created inside our Jenkins. And then get config user.name, get config user.mail. We are here providing our author's name and email. Then get fetch origin, fetch the code from the origin, switch to the branch main, get reset --art origin main. That means keep the local code same as the one we have in our Git repository. Then we have SED. SED basically is your this is basically your Linux command, Linux utility, which basically is used to replace your image with the current image that we are mentioning here. So this is a stream editor basically. So okay, so now our file is installed. Our cluster is created. So now we'll install Helm. Now we are going to install the Argo CD using Helm, but first we are going to create namespace. So have these commands. We're going to create namespace Argo CD, and then we're going to install Argo CD in that namespace. So you can see our containers are creating. Now we need to patch currently our Argo CD is, I think, has an IP of let me check. kubectl cat service Argo CD. Okay, I think I need to switch to namespace first. Okay, in the namespace Argo CD, find this service, Argo CD server. So here you see I have a cluster IP, which I don't want. I want the cluster, and I want load balancer here. So currently it is cluster IP. So cluster IP is basically for the internal communication. And currently I want my Argo CD server to be accessible in my browser. So I'll just change its type as load balancer. So I will not use the cluster IP, I'll go with load balancer. So we are patching. Service is patched. Now if we look at it, the type will be load balancer. So now I have an external IP address. So this IP address is accessible by the user, and I can access our load balancer. I can access my load balancer. So I'll just copy it and paste it in my browser. I'll just paste it. So I need to copy this command to get the password for it. Okay. So we'll copy this password. I'll refresh it. No, it's not working. Let me copy and let me check if. So yeah, I forgot to mention after the stream editor part. So we'll add the deployment file in the GitHub, and then we have git dev -- cached quiet. This line basically says if there is a change, just commit. If there is no change, don't do anything. So this basically means that our code will not be pushed if there is no changes. So now we're in deployment file. We are using API version as v1. We are using deployment object here, metadata name, namespace will be default. Now under specs, we have mentioned replicas as 4. This means that we want 4 pods, and after that we have selector match labels. That means that it will look for the deployment that has these labels, key pairs, app, urban, mart app. So look for those pods. We'll look for the pods that have these labels. So under just below that we have the template. This is our pod specifications basically. So here we are creating pods with labels app, urban, mart app. So the selector match labels will look for these pods that has these labels urban, mart app. So just before that we have created our pod information under template. These are the these are the labels of my pod basically. After that we have specifications of containers. The container name will be urban mart app. The image will be using from my Docker hub. This is the currently my build number, which is 12. We'll update it. We'll push the image again, and then port, we'll use the container port 80. Now we'll go to a service file. So here we are using service, kind is service, metadata urban mart app, and service type is load balancer, and selector is app, again urban mart app. That this basically means that this would only apply to the pods that have label as urban mart app. So the service type will be looking for those pods with this specific label. So under template we have given the label. You see under template, you see that under template we have pod information, we have given it a label. This label must match, and target port is 80. Target port is basically your container port. Okay, so now we know that we have the deployment. We'll be creating 4 pods. Template we have pod specifications. Now I'll go to this URL. Now we are inside our Argo CD. We'll type the username and we'll type the password which we just copied. Okay, we can copy it again. Now we are inside our Argo CD. We'll create application, give it application a name, Urban Mart app. Project name will be default, sync policy automatic, enable auto sync. Repository URL will be our Git repository. So I'll go to my GitHub, to my repository. Choose the repository. So I'll just copy the URL. So I've copied my Git repository URL. I'll paste it here. Division would be, branches would be main, because if it's not main, then my steps in my pipeline will be skipped. And path to our YAML files, which is I guess K8s, I guess. Let me check. So this is the path where I'll want the change to happen. So if any changes occurs to my manifest file, my YAML file, so git add deployment YAML file, this is update the YAML file. So if any changes occurs to this, only then the code will be pushed. If no changes, then we have after the pipe operators, you can see git commit -m update image tag, and git def -- crashed quiet may it won't update any changes if there are no changes, and if there are changes, it will push the code. It will push the updates, and once the updates are pushed, Argo CD will be watching any changes in our repository. So as soon as there are changes in our repository in the specific path that I've specified here, our Argo CD will trigger the deployment. So you can see that git push https in my git repository URL. So we'll see. So I'll go to my Jenkins, create a job, enter name, any name you can say. Well, multi-branch pipeline will go, because we have branch here, main branch and feature branch as well. So I'll give it a name, multi-branch pipeline. Description, this is a basic project displaying multi-branch pipeline. So we'll give it the project repository, paste our repository URL, we'll paste our GitHub credentials. All branches get the same properties. Script path will be Jenkins file, and click on apply, save. Now our build execution has started. So there is some error. Let me check. So I think the fourth stage has not appeared here. Okay, update manifest file. Let's check the logs. One file changed. Build a repository not found. Not new app repository is not found. Okay, let me debug this. Marked a new dot. Okay. So this was the mistake in our Jenkins pipeline. Let's add this. Okay, we have commented the message. Now we'll push. It's okay. But not. So we'll build now. Just wait. Okay, so everything looks good. Our deployment is complete. Let's check the logs. Okay, so our application is successfully deployed on our EKS cluster. Let's refresh this one. Okay, pods are creating. Pods are healthy. Okay, so yeah, we had 4 replicas. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we had 4 replicas, I remember. So wait a minute, guys. I have to log in again. So okay, our worker nodes are here. I'll just paste my EC2 instance address. Username EC2-user. Use private key. Just click on OK. Okay, we are connected again. And we are inside our Linux server. Now we'll check for the pods. kubectl get pods. Okay, our 4 replicas, our 4 pods are running. kubectl get service, check the service. Okay, we had service type as load balancer, and we have the URL. Now let's check this URL if it's working. Okay, although deployment is successful, I know that, but we have to check the deployment. Okay, so we can see the application here, guys. So application is working. We know that it was deployed successfully already, and with this URL we can check the deployment of our application. So this application is working. It's basically a front-end application, so there is nothing much to explain about this one. Okay, guys. So now we are going to make changes in our feature branch, and we are going to add some product in our feature branch, and then we will push it to the GitHub, and we'll create a pull request. Once that pull request is accepted, since I'm the only one working in this project, so there's no admin or GitHub admin rights. So I'll create a branch. So I'll say git checkout branch name, new features, git checkout -b new feature. So yeah, I have created a branch, and if you want to create branch and immediately switch to it, you can use git checkout -b. So now immediately inside the branch I just created, so I'll open the index.js file, and inside this I'll go to the JavaScript and I'll add something. I'll add the product. Where's this ice cream came from? I have no idea. Okay, so I'll just paste the project. I'll just paste the object that I just copied, which is our iPad Pro. Don't mind the ice cream, guys. Okay, so all products are here. I have pasted the iPad Pro. This is a new product, and I'll just add it in a few moments, so just wait. So I have added the product in the JavaScript. Now I'll add it in my main branch. I'll push it to the current branch first. I'll exit from here. Now I'll push the changes in my current branch. Git add dot and git commits message, new product added. Now I'll push this change in my current branch, so I'll type git push origin new feature. I'll click enter. So now that one object that I just created is added to my newly created branch. So now we'll go to our GitHub. In my GitHub, okay, so so we don't need to go to our GitHub. Okay, I think I need to first compare and pull request. Sorry guys, this was a mistake from my end. I know that I have to first, I forgot about that. I need to pull the request first. Create a pull request. I'll create a pull request. Now we'll merge this. So now we are confirming merge. Now we have successfully merged our project, the branch into our main branch. So the new feature branch I just created now is been merged to my main branch. Now I can build the pipeline again, can build the job again. So I click on build now again. So now you will see that a new product, the new object that I added in my JavaScript is now showing in my application front end. So So now you will see, wait a minute, let's refresh. Okay, so now you can see that our product has been added successfully just after the vitamin ascent series. You can see iPad Pro 12.9. This is the product that I added in the feature branch. Then I pushed the code to the feature branch, and then we compare and pull the request, and we successfully merged it to the main branch. And once it was done, we redeployed our project again, and it is successfully added to the application. So this is it, guys. Thank you for watching, and give it a like if you like the work. Thank you.